And he walked over to Ed, laying there dead, and smelled him, and then picked up 2 does that were bedded there with him and took them up the ridge.
Ed's dead, baby.
Dang,
Ed's dead.
Game on. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast, powered by Form Energy and Deercast.
You're Tim Chelswick.
You're Matt Drury.
And
Matthew William Drury.
MWD.
Matt Bill.
That's right. Matty Bill.
Man, it's so, like, if you're still out there like me grinding away because you haven't punched a buck tag, I feel for you. It's tough. We're going to have Dave Kramer and Rick Malik on, and they're going to talk about a smash kill. But that wide 10 that I showed you a video of,
very nice deer.
I put him on my Instagram because I filmed him at a scrape one day. And yeah, and he goes up on his hind legs. I was like, how high can a deer? And it's like they extend like 7 feet to get there. Anyway, a doe drug him past the next morning.
Oh.
Like the classic rut scenario that you plan for and everything. You watch her come out of the thick stuff and he's like 30, 40 yards behind her. She comes down, does this little swoop in front of me at like 18 yards. And he hangs up a little bit behind some brush. He's looking around. It's like, I don't know. They have a sixth sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, he commits to the same path. And I'm like, this is going to happen.
It's almost like when you're in high school and you're with a girl, you're like, oh my God, she's talking to me.
Why is this happening? What should I do next?
Okay, continue.
What should I do with my hands?
That part I relate to.
So, and I'm running, all the cameras are going, but I kind of lose track of her because I'm focused on the buck.
Sure.
And my camera is pointing off a little bit to the right, and he's coming right in front of me at 18 yards. And I take one more move because I'm self-filming like an idiot to move the camera so I know it's focused on him. Because like, I think if I keep it to the right, pretty sure he's still in frame, but autofocus in the timber, I was afraid it was going to pick up on the trees that were closer, and then he would still be over here in frame, but out of focus. So I take one beat to move the camera just a little bit. And apparently the doe had stopped, looked behind her to see what the buck was doing. And she caught me just go like, and she just takes off running. And
Didn't
the
even
buck,
blow?
No, just took off. And the buck took off running also. And I come to full draw, like, meh. And I seriously thought of pulling the, hey.
It works. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
The loud man did nothing. They just bounded off. And I was...
so you didn't let one fly?
No, he was running. Like...
I mean, I was just wondering.
A lot of thoughts crossed my mind.
Yeah, and punch that trigger. That's what I like to do.
You know, I try to keep a clean mouth. I try not to curse.
Yeah, I don't hear you.
I may have cursed a couple choice words.
Like the real curse words or the pretend ones that I've heard you say?
Some like
frick.
Great googly moogly.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that to the kids listening.
He's kind of a dick.
I hate that part.
The upside is he didn't know what was going on. He just knew like, hey, my girlfriend's taking off. I'm going to go chase her. But to be that, to have like that encounter the morning before, get a bunch of great footage and think like, okay, this could happen.
It's like that guy on the commercial with the fishing rod where he's got the dollar bill. He's like,
oh, gotcha. Try again.
Yeah.
Lucy pulling the football
I'm sorry,
away.
buddy. That sucks.
Yeah.
This segment brought to you by Hunter Specialty Scent-Away and BioStrike Scent Eliminators. Proven to be 2 times more effective than their competitors, making Hunter Specialties the leaders in scent control. Well, we got 2 guys that do know how to kill and film, and they both have self-filmed. I may be wrong, but I think they both self-filmed. Probably sucks for them too, but they've been successful at it. Dave Kramer, Rick Malik, longtime Drury Outdoors team members. What's going on, guys?
Hey guys, not too much at all.
You know,
guy's so humble
because no one else on the Drury Outdoors team is watching this episode. I can guarantee.
He's the favorite too.
I will tell you, these guys are my favorites. Like I started like back when I first started watching Drury Outdoors, Bow Madness is my favorite show. These guys, they're so consistent. They're so good. They're also pretty decent guys. Also, which doesn't hurt.
Had a run in or two with both of them, but they're okay.
They're all right. But this hunt, I love when you guys come together. I love everything that happens. But this hunt, I was so nervous watching it. And there's so much anxiety with are you on? I'm not on him. I'm not.
So Rick, we're going to let you guys get into this full story, but I got to say, Rick's breathing. We watched it at deer camp this weekend. Dad got such a kick out of it. And we kept watching it over and over and over. The part where you're like, I don't have him. Okay, I got him. And before you even hardly say anything, Dave shoots him. So I want you guys to start at the beginning here and kind of take us through. Dave killed 184 and 2/8 inch whitetail. The G1s on this thing, one was like a dagger split G1. The other, they were, how long were they? 10 inches?
Well, one was just under 12 and one was just under 11.
Okay. Sorry.
Huge.
Yeah, that's right. So that first of all, I just want to throw that out there because it's such a unique looking whitetail. I'd never really seen one quite like that. I don't know. Something about that right alone just kind of sets it apart. So when you started I assume you knew this deer, Dave, right?
Yes. Yep. So I picked a shed up off him in 22 and he was 3 years old. Carter named him Ed Too Tall Jones with good reason. And in that first year, he was just basically a 135-inch 9-pointer with long brows. And then the next year, he just exploded. So yeah, we've been watching him, but really inconsistent till this year. So good.
And how old do you think he was?
6. He was 6.5.
Okay.
Okay. So the last year, he's mature. Were you guys targeting him or not?
Yes, we were. We just, when we got once we hit October, he just basically disappeared last year. I think we maybe got 2 pictures of him all October. And then he came back in late season and then just disappeared. I had written him off. I thought he was dead. I thought somebody killed him on the neighbors. And then all at once this summer, boom, he showed back up in Velvet. So we were pretty excited to see him for sure.
So as you see him, what kind of game plan are you putting together? Because you do a ton of work on that piece of property. You guys are, you're doing a lot of food plot work and probably hinge cutting and everything in between. What kind of work are you doing specifically for this deer? Is there a certain core area that he's hanging in? So you're putting a certain type of food plot architecture, or what's because you're in the timber when you kill him during the rut. So what did you put into it going into that?
So we have a corn plot actually on the south end of this thick bedding area. It was a big tree planting is actually where he'd been living. And Carter went in and grubbed a bunch of these trees out and opened up a food plot. And we put actually a clover field that reaches down into this tree planting. And then right on the outside of that, we've got standing corn. So we hung a couple sets and popped up a ground blind in that area to hopefully get him to come out. And that's where we were getting almost all of our pictures of him were right there. And then there's actually a little water hole that we dug in too as well. So just to try to get in there on him.
One of the things that I noticed in the footage is how open the timber is. What is that where the tree plantings were? Why is it so open through there?
So where we killed him, I was not actually targeting that deer. Carter had his heart set on. This is my cousin's property.
Oh boy.
It's a beautiful, it's a beautiful property. So he's going through some stuff right now and hasn't been able to hunt much. And I told him, well, when Rick comes in, I'm going to spend time with him. I hadn't hunted myself. I was just running camera for Dalton and for Carter, and Carter hadn't done a lot of hunting. So when Rick come in, I said, well, we want to go in and hunt this particular set, mainly because of the wind. And it is pretty open right where we're at, but it's actually, if you look straight ahead of the stand, there's 15 to 20 acre tree planting that reaches down. It's just thicker. You can't hardly even walk in it.
Oh.
We know it's a thick bedding area, and it comes to a point right where that set's at. And then behind us is a big steep bluff. So we climb up, jump into the tree, the wind blows off the bluff, and then they can't get downwind. And this deer was living basically a half a mile from where we actually killed him. I honestly was not expecting to see him, but fingers crossed, I was kind of hoping.
Wasn't gonna not shoot at him if he came by.
Carter, we're gonna hunt this set.
It's a half mile away.
Who knows what'll happen?
I don't plan on shooting.
Promise
your
I'll
target
try to not kill that deer.
So Rick, okay, you're obviously like your dynamic with you and Dave's dynamic is pretty interesting because obviously you live in PA, Dave's in Iowa, and you guys make a big effort to find a common ground to go hunt, whether it's down in Texas or go on a trip. You went up to Alberta last year and killed a nice mule deer, but you do a lot of self-filming there in Ohio where you hunt a lot. And of course, Dave, is filming Carter or Dalton, like he said. So you guys don't get to hunt a lot together. So take us through kind of your planning strategy going into the rut here.
Yeah, well, the great state of Iowa, it's tough to draw that non-resident tag. So every year, Dave's been gracious to travel down to Texas with me in the early part of October. My plan is always to spend as many days as I can out there with him in Iowa come November or late October. So we make a concerted effort to really make a plan, well before the season of where we're going to go. I mean, if we're going to take a special hunt like Alberta last year. So, we just really try to make a plan on how we're going to spend as much time together in the tree because, we just have an awesome time when we do it and love filming with the guy. And hey, it's Iowa. Come on.
Any 12-inch G1 buck can run by at any time.
Yeah. I was hoping that tag would have been mine this year, but how that goes. And
get in line.
No, it was the highlight of my hunting career to be able to be in the tree with him when he shot his biggest deer of his life.
Okay, so Dave, take us through it. Like what's going on when this hunt, plays out. You're sitting this set because of your wind. Your wind's perfect. I'm assuming high pressure day, so it's probably rising, going out over the bluff. So kind of take us through the morning.
Yeah, so we typically try to get into the set like a good hour before light and get settled in and let things calm down. And it's kind of a chore to get in there. I think Rick could explain it to you. About killed him last year going in there.
No. I mean, that's the truth. He about killed me. When he says it's a bluff, I mean, you need rappelling gear to get down this thing. And, he's got 6-foot legs. And
is that the access? Is that how you access it?
Oh, yeah. That's access and egress.
You jump off the bluff into the canopy and slide down the tree.
Hand holding to get up this thing, and you don't want to look down.
And you're not a young man anymore. You can't be doing this stuff. How many shoulder surgeries have you had?
Both shoulders, 3 knees, but I made it.
We kind of altered the route just a little bit to make it a little easier on my buddy Rick. So we went further down the ridge, took more of a gradual approach and just hugged right on the edge of the bluff. By the time we got settled in and all the cameras in and going, it was just you could just start to see a little daylight and the action started immediately. It was just buck after buck. Now, I'm not a huge fan of hunting the rut just because it can be so hard to pin something down. But it can also, what happened to us, that deer wasn't living in there typically where he was. And, but we counted upwards of 30 bucks by the time Ed came through. And
that morning
on my Rattling man, it was unbelievable.
So hot doe had to be in the area.
Bunch of them.
Okay, so in the footage, I heard you mentioned, hey, Rick's been begging me to rattle, so I'm going to do a rattling sequence. So take me through that. What's happening here?
I don't typically do a lot of calling unless I see a buck. I just don't like to call blindly. But the setup and Rick's the opposite. If you're ever filming for Rick, he's like, it's every 15 minutes and he's got the horn.
Oh, come on.
Well, maybe not quite that much, but he likes to call a lot more than me. So he'd been kind of ribbing me, and it was, what was it, about 9 o'clock or so. I figured I'd entertain him. I picked the horns up, I will give it a try. And I no sooner hit the horns together and I spotted a doe coming out of the bedding area. So I stopped and I hung the horns back up, and it was a doe being chased by a couple small bucks. And so all this went on and kind of disappeared. And I'd kind of forgot about it. Rick's like, hey, you owe me a rattling. Well, okay. I suppose I do. So that's when we turned everything on. I had the GoPros turned on. I turned to it. And that's when I said, Rick's getting mad at me because I'm not doing any calling. And that is exactly how it played out. I got to thank my buddy for talking me into it, because it brought the biggest deer in my life into our lap. And that's why I killed him. I mean, I no sooner hit the horns together, maybe 5 seconds, you hear that buck grunt that comes running in there. It was a small one, and he comes right to the base of the tree. And when I just as I turn around to hang it up, here comes Ed out of the bedding area. We heard him grunt as well. And then he saw that small buck standing right underneath us, and that's all it took. He just walked.
So he's as he's coming in, Rick, what's going on your side? Because you were on the struggle bus here trying to capture him. You know, is Dave blocking your view? I mean, Dave's 7 foot tall. So what's going on here?
Yeah, the struggle bus was, an understatement. That first buck ran, there's a cherry tree literally right in front of us. And the first buck runs in, he comes down the left side, out in the wide open, standing there right below us. But when Ed comes out, he paused up there and he started going to the right. Well, that couldn't have been a worse direction for him to take. There was a lot of sort of trees that way. I get him for a little bit coming down in the timber, and then he gets behind trees, and then he pops out. I get him, and then boom, I've got a Sasquatch standing in front of me. and I'm like, crap. And you know what it's like filming. First of all, when you're filming for somebody else, you want to do a great job. And I'm trying to hold the camera up over my head, and my older eyes, I've got to be in that eyepiece to really make sure I'm in focus, because I do a lot of self-filming right at home. And if I'm in an open area, I'll maybe put it on autofocus, but I typically never, ever, ever do. And so this buck's coming, and he gets behind Dave, and I see him start to draw, and I don't have him. And he's going, and then I catch him for a little bit, and I'm like, I got him. And I said, I'm going to lose him. This is a nightmare. And then he no sooner gets down there, and what's he do? He decides to turn back and go the way he came. And when he started to leave, I didn't realize kind of how quickly he was going to get out of there. And I was panicking, and I almost, after I watched it, regretted investing in those really good, wireless mics, because we had them on both of us. We always both mic up, and boy, you would have thought I was having a heart attack, which I kind of was, and I knew he was at full draw, and this buck is completely behind Dave. I don't have him at all. And he finally pops out, and I said, I don't have him. And then I said, I have him. And I get him in focus, and I was just getting him in focus and just saying I have him. I heard, man, whack. He was, Dave, and I wouldn't probably waited either, buddy. He didn't hear a word I said.
I got him. I don't have him. I got him. I don't have him.
The blessing was we had 5 cameras running, and every camera basically caught 100% of that deer moving in. So it was really cool to see that. And we were worried a little about the shot, but deer didn't go 100 yards.
But I mean, that if you just watch it, and maybe you've never done that before, filmed a hunt, it maybe looks like a circus, but I think these guys did everything right. It's just like that level of adrenaline and sense of urgency, and yet the maturity to wait for everything to be right. And then when it is executing, that's all like playing chess.
I think you're giving him too much grace, because I think Dave was going to take that shot, even if Rick said,
Dave,
I don't
what
have
say
him.
you?
I think you're right, buddy. But,
Dave,
I didn't hear a whole lot what was going on there.
to be honest, I didn't hear him at all.
Oh, Rick, you're still here.
Put this into perspective. So this is my biggest deer. The biggest buck I killed was back in 1996 at 176. That was with a muzzleloader. Then my next biggest deer, which was my biggest bow kill, was way back in 2002. So it'd been a long time since old Dave got a look at a deer that size.
Yeah.
So at least with the bow in my hand.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you filmed Bill Gadink kill his biggest deer ever just a year ago.
And killed my son, shoot a 200-incher and stuff. I mean, it's just like, you might as well have the bow in your hand when you're filming that stuff. And it was, I mean, for me, it's just as rewarding to film it as it is to kill it. So
take us through your aspect of that part that Rick just described. You rattle, the deer comes running in, and what's going on? Why did it take so long for you to get the shot off? Because if you're not really listening to Rick and the troubles he's having, like what's going on your side?
So when the buck turned to come down, I knew he was coming down to try to get downwind of that smaller buck that was standing underneath us. And you see me start to draw. And when I get back just so far, he actually walked behind some limbs that were hanging on another tree. So I didn't want to take a chance. He was standing there at 20, 25 yards coming through it, but there was enough branches out of the next tree that were blocking the shot. So that's why I let back down. It wasn't probably because Rick said I don't have him. Well, fortunately, he couldn't get downwind. And then when that little buck must have looked up or heard us or smelled our trail and took off up the ridge. If you look, you'll see that as well. And the deer kind of panicked and he started to go. And when he was going up the hill, I think if I hadn't shot when I did, it was over. He was going to run.
Yeah.
So it did happen pretty fast. Shot was a little bit back because one, I was freaking out, and two, he was moving a little bit. But fortunately, it all worked out. And fortunately, we were able to see him when he ran away and the kind of shape he was in, and watched him die in 10 minutes.
So where did the hit happen? Like where on the body?
It caught he was almost perfectly broadside. I was shooting the Killzone 2-inch, the new Killzone RX 2-inch.
Yep.
And it went in, and it was almost perfectly broadside, but the arrow kind of kicked back just a little bit. Must have caught that rib when it opened up and just kind of angled back a little bit. So it went onside, back of the onside lung, through the liver, and then opened the stomach up too. And that's what we could see when he was going away, was this, that he had some intestines hanging out. So, and then I could see blood all over his side as he was walking away, and instantly started laboring. And we watched him lay down twice. And then the third time he disappeared over the hill. And I thought, oh, we're going to have to wait 24 hours to go after this deer. And at once I see his head come backwards over the ridge, and all I could see was his nose sticking up, and then he didn't move for half an hour.
So you had to hit an artery or something too, right?
You had to have. Yeah, I had to have.
Yeah.
Center of the liver, back of the onside lung, and then back. You probably caught a main artery running down into that liver, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I'll take that all day, every day.
100%.
Okay, so you guys go, you're celebrating. Well, immediately in your reaction, you say gut shot him. So you knew kind of, what's going on, but were you able to get excited then after that? Or like that kind of, like in the heat of the moment, that's when the biggest excitement usually happens. If you think you make a bad shot, you're not excited usually. So What's playing out in your mind there?
Well, like I said, we right away, both of us thought it's going to be a long day. We're going to have to let him go, probably not track him today at all. Just, we've seen it on DeerCast track enough times, and it's usually pretty accurate about the hit. So we hadn't looked at it yet, but my main focus was staying on him with the binoculars. I did not get all excited and celebrate, that's for sure. I watched him, and when I was certain that he had tipped backwards and saw his nose, and then we had a pretty good time in the tree. We made some phone calls, got a hold of Carter, called my wife, called my son, and then texted you guys, texted Mark, and told him I just killed my biggest deer. And so, yeah, it was pretty awesome, pretty incredible. But, one of the best days we'll ever have in a tree.
How'd Carter take it?
He was happy. I said, hey, I just want to let you know that I just killed Ed. And he started screaming and celebrating right away. So he was excited as we were. So
That's
we were
good.
Both happy about that.
That's good. Good deal. I told Rick, I said something like, don't drink. This is a little bit later in the day. I said, don't drink too much. Don't drink too much today. And he says, don't tell me what to do. And the picture I got back were him, Dalton, and Dave drinking.
They earned it.
Yeah. I was like, you're a little late, pal. We had a party that night. Let's just say my my big buddy over here did not feel like very well the next morning. Put it that way.
I don't drink a lot, but I did that night. So
it's not often you kill the biggest deer of your life, so you got to revel in whatever it is you're celebrating. That's how you got to do it, right?
Rick, what form or fashion did your "I told you so" come into play here?
Well, Tim, let me tell you, I took the accolades for that one. Because Dave, I'm always ribbing him. Like he'll pull out a grunt call after sitting in a tree for 3 hours, and I go, oh, what's about to happen? And, so he's not lying about that. I do rib him, and I was waiting as long as I could, and I said, buddy, you owe me a rattling sequence. And when he says it was 5 seconds, that might have been an exaggeration when those bucks started to charge in. So I definitely let him know that he killed his biggest deer, because of me. Yep. So I expect a lot of rattling and grunting in the future, but no, it was great, and I was a little worried at first, but the advantage we had, we filmed that deer, almost completely until we knew he was done. And Dave may have waited to celebrate. I was celebrating. I knew we had him once I saw him go down as quickly as he did and how he was laboring. And I am not kidding. I mean, up to 30 minutes after he killed that deer, I had to sit down. My knees were just rocking, man. I was so excited. And especially for him, there's not a guy that works harder. When you say that he's put a lot of work in on these farms, he has his own farm that he works his tail off on. And then, all the Carter's farms, he does just a ton of work, stand hanging. I mean, you name it. And couldn't happen to a nicer guy, man. I was super excited.
Yeah.
We killed that deer, and that, I'll remember that forever.
Yeah. A total team effort. And Dave, you said something that I've always thought, but I've never said it out loud. But when you said it, it made total sense to me. But I get a little bit of anxiety about hunting the rut. I get anxiety about rattling, grunting, especially when I don't see anything. Like I don't do much blind calling because, especially when you're bow hunting, you get sometimes forced into it happened to me with those deer that came by, the target buck I had. You just get into these, like tied up into these situations that things happen so fast. And you have to adapt so quickly, and a lot of times they're less than ideal. And you guys, you pulled it out, but it worked.
For me, it's the ranging, the anxiety of not knowing the yardage, and
20
guessing.
Is different than 25.
I mean, that's what gives me anxiety. So, did you end up even having a chance to range them, or you just kind of knew your spots and guessed a little bit?
I had ranged previously, obviously picked a few spots and knew that ridge where he actually went up was, it was 20 yards. So that's the pin I picked, and it hit center mass up and down. So apparently that part was right anyway. So,
yeah. I mean, I range a lot too, but I tend to forget.
You forget.
The range.
It's so weird. It's like when your wife is telling you something. Oh yeah, got it. Wait, what did you say?
I just ranged this.
When's the birthday party?
Still 30.
Did you see? We didn't really show it, but Dave, tell him what happened when we were sure he was done. Carter was coming, and what happened next was pretty darn cool too.
Well, let's hear it. And it's lucky it didn't happen sooner. We were sitting there. I watched him, and I turned around. I watched him laying there, made sure that I felt he was dead, and looked back up the ridge. I heard something to our left, and I look over, and here comes another buck walking down the ridge. Another shooter with about a foot-long drop tine.
Oh,
what? Video. And it's a good thing he didn't walk past first, because he'd have been getting shot. He had a big chunk of velvet on him, hanging on the very end, but that thing was 10 to 12 inches long, and he walked right underneath us 10 yards. Rick had the camera put away. My bow was on the ground. We had lowered everything down, and Rick got the camera back out and got him on camera just as he's standing right underneath us and walking. Wow. And he walked over to Ed laying there dead and smelled him, and then picked up 2 does that were bedded there with him and took him up the ridge.
Ed's dead, baby.
Dang,
Ed's dead.
Game on.
That's when we knew he was dead. We're like, let's get out of the tree. But man, we saw that buck actually just after first light. We didn't know who it was. and the does came right past us, and he just decided to cruise on back up in that tree planting thicket. And he walked over. Yeah, we'd been celebrating a 12-inch drop tine 7-point.
So Dave, do you have pictures of that deer?
That we don't have a camera on this ridge this year. We normally do. Rick and I actually filmed that buck last year as a 7-pointer, and I think he was probably a 3, maybe a 4-year-old, and he did not have the drop time. Otherwise, he was pretty similar, but that he just got that. Unless he had broke it off last year, we didn't know it was there.
That's crazy, because I mean, so potentially he could not have it next year.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Better shoot him. Who's got a tag left?
Carter.
And I do want to say, without Carter and him allowing me to be a part of this thing, I really want to thank him. I've done most of the food plots and the tree stand work, but without that property, you've seen production on our end just the last 3 years since we've been in there.
Yeah.
I went from killing 1 buck every year, maybe every 2 years, to now all of a sudden we're successful and on a regular basis. And it's mainly because of that and the amount of pressure it takes off of my farm and allows us to
bounce back
make
and
that
forth
better as well.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. And it's awesome, the dynamic you guys have. And it's fun watching Carter, get to hunt on all the shows too, and see his perspective of it. So you guys have had a great run here. And for those of you listening and watching, internally, we have what we call the Producer of the Year, kind of an award show every year. And we've done it 20 years probably, or more maybe. And Dave and Rick have won Producer of the Year the last 2 years in a row. And if you win it 3 times, you get put into the Ring of Honor. And there's only one guy in it, Dave Reisner, who is no longer quite the producer he used to be. But
happens to us all.
But it's cool because these guys, I mean, already you're having a hell of a season, and we're not even halfway through. So pretty cool. They're going for their 3-peat, if you will.
Well, we both love doing it together and love being a part of the team. I know it's been early 2000s now. We're both getting older, I mean, Rick's 60. I'm pushing it. So
61.
I know.
I thought you were going to go back here. 59.
But we also have more time to be able to do it, where we didn't before. So
yeah,
maybe that Ring of Honor, like you should get, if you win, you should get a shower chair.
Oh, my mind went somewhere else, but anyways, Rick's with me.
Yep.
Huh. Things I don't know or understand, I guess. Maybe you explain to me after the show.
So, all right. So what's next for you guys? I know Carter's got a tag left. Obviously, gun season's there in Iowa. All you, Dalton, Dave, Dalton, Carter, all 3 have tags. Rick, what's up for you? Ohio?
Yep, I've been in Ohio. Came close, Tim, to your story. Right before I went to Iowa to film Dave, I had a big, almost 150-inch 9, where my lease partner almost killed him 300 yards away from me. An hour later, he cruised right into me. I filmed him the whole way. Doe's right in front of me. He swings left, checks him, leaves me. I couldn't get a shot at him. He cruises 300 yards back. And no lie, an hour later, standing 12 yards in front of the same guy he stood in front of 2 hours before, and he killed him. I'm out there. I'm self-filming. I was out there this morning.
I'm out there. I'm loving every minute of it.
So, yeah.
Yep. And so I'm Ohio's in until the beginning of February. Told Dave, especially as the corn gets knocked down out there in his place or whatever, we've got a buck that's consistently showing up, especially on Dave now. He's got his landowner tag. I'll get back on a plane and head to Iowa if we can get it done there, and just try to maximize what we're doing. And I still have tags in Texas, but never seem to make it back down there. But going to try to just get as much done as we can with Carter, and then hopefully Dave with another one to try to put a lot more on the board.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the year so far. It's been spectacular.
Yeah, high watermark.
Absolutely.
There's no room for compromise in your hunting knife. That's why Cold Steel has built a reputation for crafting the toughest, most reliable blades on the planet. From the versatile click and cut to the innovative hunting kit, every Cold Steel knife is a tool that you can trust. Strong, durable, ready for anything. Get yours today at coldsteel.com and experience the difference for yourself.
All right, you guys want to stick around and do a little trivia with us?
Heck yeah.
All right, we got the Iowa Giant trivia. All right, so in September of 2003, 15-year-old Tony Loveston, probably pronounced that wrong, of Albia, Iowa, shot what came to be known as a world record whitetail with a muzzleloader. It had a green, non-typical Boone and Crockett score of 322 and 4/8. Jesus. Blowing out the current record of 295 and 6/8. What was the final official score of the Albia buck? And Dave, since you're a resident, I'm going to let you go first. There's A, B, or C. A, 301/8 inch. B, 312 and 7/8 inch. C, 307 and 5/8 inch. What do you think, Dave?
Me on the spot here.
You're on the
probably
clock.
do that at one time, but I'm getting old. I'm going to say, I think it was, A.
301/8 inch. All right. Rick, what say you? 300,
C.
312, or 307?
Oh, I'll say 300, 312, 307. I'm also go A.
I think these guys are just guessing.
That's how I
Maybe.
completed college. So, all right. I think you're both wrong, as guessing happened to me a lot in college. It is C, 307 and 5/8 inches.
Jeez.
Which is ridiculous.
15-year-old kid.
I would have retired after that.
Wow.
I've never heard of the Albia buck. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have seen all the
just
footage they
outside
had
of
of that deer, in velvet. He was just insane.
really.
Oh.
Now I'm gonna have to Google it.
2003.
All right. Well, Tim, what's next here?
It's just a special announcement. Make sure, if folks don't already know this, Deercast has its own social media handle.
Yes.
So you can follow the Deercast app on social media for neat tips and tricks.
And they've amped it up really here in the last few weeks. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of content. Jim, Taylor, like Ellie, all the social team are putting out there. So yeah, be sure to follow along on Deercast and check it out. And 100% Wild has its own social handles as well. So check that out. We did forget the shout out, Tim. If you want to, do you want to read it?
Yeah, we have a shout out from Stu, who says Tim is unbelievably handsome and witty.
He didn't complete the last part of his name.
Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great show.
Stupid idiot.
Well, now it just nullifies
First name
the entire
Stu,
thing.
Last name Pit Idiot.
It sounds Polish.
All right. Well, that's probably enough for today.
We embrace all cultures on this show.
I know that you guys probably had to take off work to be with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, hey, thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for having us. I'm not much of a podcaster, but I can talk about big deer.
So are you telling us you don't listen to the podcast?
No, I do.
Okay,
I do.
sure.
I do. Yes.
Are you in the Rack Pack? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I am.
Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're Rack Packers. You would be shocked how many team members we have asked that question.
I'm not shocked.
And they're not familiar with what we're talking about. I can name names, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, we rely on other people to shame them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, hey, we appreciate you guys. Congrats on the hell of a year you're having so far. Good luck on the rest of the way. Rick, I hope you get a shooter there in Ohio showing up and connect. And of course, Dave, good luck in Iowa the rest of the way. All right.
Yeah. Good luck to you guys too.
Yeah. Tim needs plenty of luck.
I'll take anything you can throw my way. Luck, prayers.
Stick with it, Tim. I know it
vibes.
can be tough, that self-filming, especially during the rut, but we get through that and maybe it'll get a little bit easier for you.
Here's hoping. Here's hoping.
On that depressing note.
No food, no nothing. Well, we'll give her a rip.
All right. Well, until next time, peace out.
Deercast movement prediction and mapping tools combined with our exclusive virtual rain gauges gets you ahead of your game. We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by DeerCast Maps, waypoints, weather, virtual rain gauges, and more. Every tool you need to get ahead of your game.